Hey, welcome back to Irish Steven. I'm rocking, I hope you are too. So in today's video, I am going to replace my bladder tank on my well. So a bladder tank, you know it goes bad. Two things tell you when it goes bad. One thing is your pump is cycling a lot. The second thing is water comes out of the Schrader valve. So that tells me my bladder's bad, so I need to replace my bladder tank. So today, we are going to do just that. Ignore the tarp. That's from the cold weather. I haven't cleaned it up yet. All right? But first, I'm going to have to dig out around it because it's been sitting there so long, the ground has grown up around it. So the first thing I got to do is dig up around it. So let me do that real quick, and we'll get back. All right, so as you can see, I dug around the pipe and around the tank. All right, there's actually block up underneath it, but it has settled. But so first thing I need to do is, let me back it up, is go ahead and shut my pump off. So I'm just going to merely do that just by unplugging it, because that's what I can do. I can just unplug it. All right, so then I have to release the pressure. All right. So I'm just going to release it right here. I'm going to shut the valve off to my house. So therefore, I won't depressurize the house. I only just depressurize this pipe right here. So I shut the valve off to the house, open the valve up right here. Boom. Done. So let me go and do that. All right, so I'm ready to go ahead and cut this thing. And I'm going to cut it. Where's my knee pad? I'm old. So I'm going to cut it where I can put a coupling back on to put it back together. So I'm going to cut it back far enough where I can get a coupling back on it. Okay? It's always good not to actually force the blade through pipe that you want to save. So that's why I'm kind of sawing back and forth. Plus my cutters are probably also a little dull. But this is not thin wall pipe. This is actually Schedule 40 pipe. All right. So she's free and clear. My tool's off. And again, this thing's full of water. I have a new one to go right back in its place. So this thing right here swivels, don't worry about it. All right. The hole needs to line up with that 90 right there. All right, so we're gonna make all that happen. And yes, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to take the old one. I'm going to take the old pipe if I can stand it up. Oh. Again, it's full of water. Woo! These things generally go about 5 years or so. This actually went 6 years. Almost 7. So that's not too bad. But the reason why you want to replace this is because otherwise your pump's going to cycle on and off, on and off, on and off, on and off. Ooh, I bet I don't have you backed up enough where you can see that, do you? Oh yeah. All right. So I took this off. This is my male adapter. I'm going to screw it onto the new one. And I'm going to put a coupling on it. I'll cut a hole in that thing and get the water out of it. Water's already coming out of it. So again, you want to do this because otherwise your pump will cycle on and off, on and off, on and off. And what kills pumps is the cycling on and off, on and off, on and off. Pumps will last a long, long time if they just run without turning off and on. So you're actually doing harm to your pump by not replacing your tank if your pump is cycling. Yeah, it's a little chilly out here, so my nose got a little bit of running. Alright, I don't want it tight because I'm going to glue my coupling on here, and when I push up against the other pipe I want to be able to turn it so that way the glue will spread around. First thing I'm going to do though, next thing I'm going to do is make sure I got a good place for my tank to go. So if I have to, I can put some pieces of wood under here. This one here has a round bottom versus the other one has 3 legs. So let's see how that lines up. And these tanks aren't heavy when they're empty. Not at all. That looks like that's actually going to line up very perfect. Let me zoom in. Can you see that? All right. See that? That looks like that lines up pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and go with that. Let's back you back up. Okay. All right, be right back. All right, so let's go ahead and glue this thing in. Just keep in mind that these things here, they're a little hard to glue on, especially when it's not on concrete where it slides. So I'm probably gonna fight this a little bit, just to let you know. First, I'm gonna slide it back a little bit so I can get the coupling on there good. Always primer. You can use clear cleaner if you want to, but always primer or cleaner, always. And I always use a all-purpose glue. Just my thing. People use different glues for different reasons. This has worked well for me over the years, so why change if it ain't broken? Always make sure that you give it at least a quarter of a turn. Always give it at least a quarter of a turn when gluing it on. Okay? So I'm gonna let that set up for a minute. My employee, who is also a master plumber, but just not in Georgia, he was gluing some pipe, and I've been watching him glue pipe, and I've been like, finally I was like, man, you need to turn that thing. He's like, all you gotta do is turn it a quarter of an inch. No, it's not a quarter of an inch, it's a quarter of a turn. A quarter of an inch ain't but that far. A quarter of a turn. You have to at least give it a quarter of a turn. Out of 365 degrees, that's at least a 90 degree, okay? Woo! He worries me sometimes. He worries me. So I'm going to prime this other side up real quick. Get really good because we don't want to do it twice. We don't want to do it once. Well, I'm still waiting on that glue. All right, so for wells, you want your cut on pressure. You want your pressure in your tank. Your pressure in the tank be 2 psi less than the cut on pressure for your well. Okay. So let's see what this is. All right, so that was 36, looks like 36, 34. All right, so that's 34. So I'm going to let a little air out because my well cuts on at 30, so I want to be down at 28. That's for your whole system to be working properly. You need to adjust it properly for your whole system. Also notice there's no water coming out, okay? Alright. So if you think your bladder's bad, if you hear your pump cycling, the first thing you do is check your bladder, okay? Make sure your bladder's not broken. Alright, that's 28. So I'll zoom in and let you see that. All right, 28. All right, let's go ahead and glue this thing up. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Woo! We got ourselves a problem. We got ourselves a problem. All right, we need another coupling. Because the tank is hitting the pipe right there. So we got to put a little piece of pipe in there and make that happy. So let's go ahead and clean that glue off. I didn't expect that. All right, let me get a short piece of pipe. All right, so I'm back. Another coupling, another piece of pipe. So let's go ahead and just eyeball this. What we're gonna need right there. By the way, this pressure switch right here went to a submersible pump that was on there. It's no longer connected to anything. They had a cheap submersible pump on this well, so it wasn't long when I was living here that I had to go. All right, so I'm going to glue one end. Well, it's right here in front of me, so therefore I'll be able to turn on this. All right, move this a little bit to the side. We'll glue it in that one right there. It's kind of funny that thing didn't. It's the same size tank, so I guess the other one would have leaned it back as far as it was leaning back. Had an impact on it. A lot of impact on it. So, yeah, I got glue on me. Plumbing's a messy job, but that's all right. We know what to do. All right, let's do this again. Let's do this again. I bet we'll have better results this time. Woo, this thing's a booger. All right. All right. All we have to do is just wait an hour. All right, so it's been about an hour, maybe a little more. I got tied up doing other things. Let's go ahead and plug this thing in and see how she goes. See if they got any leaks or not. So the first time you turn a pump on after taking the pressure off of it, it's always takes the longest to pressurize back up. I don't know why. It just is. I have no rhyme or reason. So this is probably going to run for a while. Let me close that off. I still don't have pressure going to the house yet. I want to pressurize the system to make sure I don't have any leaks before I have it go into the house. So I'm going to bring you over here and let you watch the pressure go up. That's an old Harbor Freight pump over there. I had while I was doing construction. Instead of spending the money on a new pump, I just need to get some water going on. But that's it still works, but it's for non-potable. So make sure if you buy a pump from Harbor Freight or for someplace, make sure it says for potable. Make sure it doesn't say for non-potable water. Very important. All right. It's at about 52 or 3 now. And I'm not saying my gauge is 100%. Yeah, she's fluctuating a little bit, but it's okay. No harm. No harm. Let's go over here. We'll wait for that pressure up. Let's go over here and just check out our connection. Make sure we don't have any leaks. Alright, there's our connection. Make sure there's no leaks. I don't see any water dripping. Nope, everything looks good. Like I said, it's going to run the longest the first time after depressurizing it. So she's still building this a little bit. Now you don't want to sit there and wait on it for a long time because we don't want to heat up our pipe and cause another issue. But I feel confident she's going to shut off this any minute now. So you can see the water level in the well while we're waiting. Can you see that? Is there any reflection there? No? Let me see if I turn on flash, whether it'll show it or not. Let's see. No, still can't see it. No. Anyway, it's only about 5 or 6 feet down there to I'm checking to see if there it is. Yeah, flash is on. But while we're still waiting on that, let's come over here, make sure we still don't have any leaks. Still no leaks. So if you have any questions about well pumps, leave in the comments. I'll answer them. I've been working on wells for 30 years, shallow wells. Deep wells, I mean, I don't have the equipment to pull a deep well pump, but I mean, I can still, you know, replace this pressure switch or the bladder tank, or even the control box, which goes out every now and then too, the control box. So, whoop, she just shut off. Just takes a little while the first time around. I don't know why it does it, but I mean, all pumps do that. All shallow well pumps do that. So, one more check. No leaks. No leaks. All right. So let me set you back up. All right. So that's how to swap out a pressure tank or a bladder tank on a well. This is actually a bladder tank. Pressure tank is a galvanized tank. A bladder tank means it has a bladder on the inside. A pressure tank doesn't have that. It's just usually fiberglass lined. So that's how you replace a bladder tank on a shallow well. Any questions? Drop them in the comments. Don't forget, until next time, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Keep rocking, because you know I'm going to be. Deuces.